He's done some terraforming. Oh, God. Oh my god. Terraforming. No one likes to do it. It's tedious. It's boring. But the reason why we do it is because it looks phenomenal when it's done, and it looks awesome. Because I can show you a few examples right here, right now. We've got the mountain from my city world, which you saw in the intro. There's even a small quarry, which, looking back at it, it could have a lot more work done to it, but that's not the point. You can have nice winding rivers along your, your areas. You could even have terrain for a racetrack, or maybe you've just got a small coastal cliff looking thing. That also works. But let's be honest, you didn't come here because you wanted the motivation to do terraforming. You came here because you want to do terraforming, and you don't really know where to begin, what to do. So let's break this up into parts. First off, let's start with the actual terrain itself. Dirt. If you know what contours are, then that will help you a lot. If you don't know what contours are, I'm going to explain them to you now. I think this image shows it the best that I found on Google. Because as you we got the line. Each line is a different layer. You know, the closer the lines are to each other, the higher, the steeper the cliff is. So if I go onto an actual map, like this for example, you can see there's a lot of lines close together here, meaning that this is a cliff and or mountain that is really high up, and then it gets lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Look, we got a slight up hill bit. Same here, same here, same there. And you're probably wondering, how on earth does this help me? Well, if we treat each block layer as a different contour, let's say I want the mountain to curve around this way. Well, what if I don't really want it to be steep? Then the next contour will be back here, but it will still follow that line that's over there. And then obviously maybe now I want it to start getting steeper, so I might do half of that gap up here, and then so on and so forth, and then I'll keep just outlining each layer with these quote unquote contours, and then I'll fill it in afterwards, because then this gives you a wireframe of how you want your mountain. There's a very big difference between hand-built terrain, which is this, which I always prefer the look of. It always looks so much nicer, and there's so many good examples of it, mainly in survival, because obviously you can't get world edit in survival, and also in bedrock because you can't, it doesn't cross over. But because it always looks a lot more detailed and a lot more thought out. With world edit terrain, it's kind of just sporadic because you're just using orbs. Because look, this is just, okay, that's not really a good example. Over here we've got, it's kind of more erratic, it's nowhere near as good as when it's hand built. And obviously you can look at examples in real life as well for inspiration. I always have as a rule of thumb, once you get to this sort of point, start transitioning into stone, and then you can put a nice little grass layer, however you want to transition that. And then then you go a little bit, then you go a lot higher, and then that's the start of your mountain or cliff or whatever you're trying to accomplish. But that looks very vanilla, like Minecraft. To change it from vanilla to everything else, you can use gradients and stuff like that. I don't end up tending to do that a lot because I don't really terraform a lot. I think I'm going to start terraforming more because I haven't done it a lot. But there is instances where I have done terraforming. In Creative Craft, I usually used world edit, but you can still get a really nice looking cliff edge with world edit terraforming. Look, I've got a nice cheeky waterfall in there, and I've got moss spreaded about. Just because there's stone showing doesn't mean you have to put grass or anything, because it can be a nicer cliff if there's not grass on top, and having it more sporadic as well makes it look a lot more lush, I want to say, I think. But yeah, it makes it look a lot different and nicer. And you can keep some things just stone. Okay, I could have blended this in a bit better, but you can keep things just stone because not everything has to have grass in it, because not everything does have grass in it in the real world. The base of the lighthouse, you got it's just stone, but like it looks nice because it would be rocky and stones around a lighthouse, because that's what the lighthouse's purpose is to do. Obviously you don't have to keep it all to this type of terrain or the terrain that I showed you. You can also do your own type of terrain like this. Treat it like you're painting a picture, you know, so like you can do your own artistic thing. You can like, oh, this bit needs like a little bit over here or over here. You know, these are like boulders or pillars or like basalt or bath salts, whatever you want to call it. I did a gradient of like moss because the water is like water and stuff. Then tough, cobblestone, stone, andesite. You can actually use concrete powder as well if you really wanted to, but I'm not going to. The reason I use moss is because it's like a lot more lush. You don't always have to use grass, because obviously grass has that like ugly dirt texture on the side, which isn't like is always a sharp contrast to stone. You can also use concrete powder because it's very, very similar looking to moss. So, you know, if you wanted that extra bit of texture, obviously make sure there's blocks underneath it. If you wanted that extra bit of texture to like help paint your picture, then obviously go for it, because it looks really, really nice. And yeah, let's say you're building a path, you know, you're going up here because like let's say your base is up there. I'm not gonna build a base, but we're gonna drag the path up here. Now don't get me wrong, these paths they're great, right? You can never go wrong with just a normal path. They're bright, they're colourful, they're nice looking. But you can change that. I'd suggest adding things like coarse dirt for one, and it has to be coarse dirt, otherwise grass will grow on it. Adding things like gravel as well. Just dot it about. You know, it doesn't have to be anything like, you know, too crazy. Just randomly, yeah. Then your path is already like way more textured, and this means you can hide slabs in a lot nicer to be able to walk on it nicer, like in a more natural way, without having to like, you know, jump, because then that makes it just a nicer experience. You can also add like boulders and stuff on like the sides, or like the sidelines of your like pathway, obviously varying in like size and like shape and whatever else. And then you can add like moss to the top of it and things like that, you know, whatever floats your boat really. Try and like transition it the best way you can. Obviously that's very oh my, this donkey, die. Obviously try and like transition it as well as you can. This is a very rushed version of the boulder, but yeah, you get the general gist of what I'm trying to tell you. Then you can even add like coarse dirt around it to give the boulder like a weight almost, because then it looks like the grass is dead around it because it's like sunk into the ground slightly. And then obviously add smaller boulders around it, like we got another boulder here, because why not? That's not really the best boulder I've ever done, but okay, look, hold on. We got another boulder there, and then we obviously do the exact same thing. We add the coarse dirt around it, giving it more weight. Then you can add stone buttons around that to make it look like there's even smaller buttons. Well, not even smaller buttons, there's even smaller boulders around it, like pebbles and stuff like that, which can make it look a hell of a lot nicer as well. Adding like bushes and things like that as well can also make it look a lot nicer, depending on what you're using, obviously. Just like here and there, you could add like a small bush, like adding shrubbery. It just gives like the pathway like more life, you know, and things like that. Because already we've got a pretty nice looking path, if I don't say so myself. Because like we can come up here, you know, let's say our base is like up there somewhere. That's a pretty nice pathway. Then you can even add like, you know, lampposts and things like that, just to make it like a nice scenic walk. Obviously these lampposts aren't gonna light up everything, so you can actually hide the light sources underneath bushes, because leaves are transparent blocks. So if you have a light source underneath it, it does still light up as like if you had it lights up the exact same way as you would with a torch out. See, it makes no difference at all, and it still lights up and like prevents mobs from spawning and like, you know, all the stuff that you don't really want them to do. You can also hide torches underneath moss carpets as well. This only really works if the surrounding terrain, like the grass, looks like it, because in every biome the grass is a different shade of green, so obviously make sure it's actually matches. If not, then do the bush technique, because I found this out in my Unbound series that I'm streaming on my live channel. You should go check it out. I've also streamed Phasmophobia with my friend, mod, and music maker Sayoneku, or Max if you prefer. So you should go check it out. Link will be in description or in the tagging. I will tag it up above in the corner. But this is pretty much all I've got for this segment. On to the next one. Okay, trees. Tip number 1. Google a tree that you want to build. Alright, now Google it naked. Alright, now that you're on Tree Hub. Okay, look at the branches, how they go out, and like how the general tree looks. I'm gonna go for like just a normal like basic tree just to prove my point. Start off with like a base, depending on how thick you want it, you know, be accustomed to it. You know, just get a feel for how, like, you treat it like you're modeling clay. I feel like that's the best way I can describe it. Okay, I haven't built a tree in a while, so bear with me. Then you can use things like slabs and stairs to give it just that little bit more shape to the tree overall. And then once you've got like the general shape down, again, this is very, very rushed. This is not going to look good. Then start branching out like in different directions. I'd say do it in like layers. So start off like low and then go higher. I'd say obviously use fence gates and stuff for when it gets like a lot smaller of like a branch as well. So then the tips being fence gates and stuff like that. Bring the fences as far as you can. Keep it not dense, but like decently, you know, decently dense at the same time. Make sure you go up a lot as well. Don't keep it too flat. So as you can see here, I'm gonna do a little bit of thing like that. I'm not gonna do a full tree. I'll show you a full tree though. Then come in with leaves and just wrap it around mainly the fence gates. Obviously not too much, because you want it to be like decently aired out. You don't want it to be like too full, you know, because you want to still be able to see the branches to a degree, because that's what normal trees do. You don't just see leaves, you do actually see branches. It's just like your eyes kind of fill in the gaps, so it just looks more like just green. And because we've made this decently dense, the leaves will join up and it will make it look a lot nicer. Obviously, if I did the full tree, this would look a hell of a lot nicer. Let me show you a complete tree. Like these trees, for example, I'm coming out, branching off, and then sporadically putting leaves around those branches, and then I do another layer, another layer, another layer. That's because that's a spruce tree, and that's how like they sort of work. Is literally just a straight up layer, and then it slowly cones off at the top. And then literally I've just got pure leaves because it's theoretically so small that it doesn't really, you know. And then I've got a small bit where it's just like nothing, because it's keeping that like sort of layer vibe to it, and then we stop off here. I've got a lot of trees in this world. It's like ranging from jungle trees, cherry blossom trees, palm trees, really big dark oak trees, where like that rule doesn't really apply because I just use really big branches and like because it's a really fat tree. Swamp trees. If you want to go check out how I built all of these trees, check out my Creative Craft series. I show my process on how I built every single one of these builds. It will be tagged in the top right or in the description below if I remember that. So there are definitely like variations depending on the tree, because like up here I've kept it mostly flat because jungle trees are mostly flat with like some branching out here and there. I've got this tree here in my city world. Like I've kept it mostly aired out, you know, you could sit up there and stuff like that, but it still gives the effect, you know. This could probably be like have more height to it. I would add more height to it if I were to build it again. But it gives a good example of what is sort of today. And it doesn't all have to be leaves. You can add more texture by adding like terracotta, wool, and things like that. Obviously, it depends what leaves you're using, so choose your blocks wisely. But yeah, it's a good thing to know and to have. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it helped, all of the tips and tricks. If you did enjoy this video, please subscribe. I do a lot more tutorial videos, and I might upload some other videos. Let me know if you guys want to see those. Check out my live channel, check out the Discord, linked below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye!